Making documentaries around the world, I've witnessed poverty in many countries. But one film I thought I'd never make is a film about poverty on my own doorstep.
And this was your home for how long?
6 months.
6 months?
Yeah.
Today, 1 in 5 people in Britain live in poverty. Last night, an estimated 4,000 people slept rough in the UK. 80% of those either have mental health issues or drug or alcohol addiction. How much are you drinking then?
2 to 2.5 litres of vodka a day.
2 to 2.5 litres.
Yep.
And 1 in 3 have spent time in prison.
I've only ever lived on the streets, in prison or in hostels.
Last year, over £100 billion was spent on welfare. That's 1/6 of the government's entire budget.
What's in this? What is this here?
That's allowed to put chips in.
Yeah, okay, you got that there to put your chips in. Right.
I want to know why poverty still exists in 21st century Britain. After an extensive regeneration project, Glasgow is once again a thriving metropolis, attracting international tourism, and has just won the bid to host the Commonwealth Games in 2014. I've come to Glasgow not only because it epitomises the issues which are trapping millions of people in a cycle of poverty across the UK, but also because the city is pioneering initiatives to break that cycle. Certain parts of the city have a 68% unemployment rate. Drug addiction rates are some of the highest in Europe, and life expectancy for some is as low as 54 years. With the economic downturn and cuts to benefits, more people are falling into poverty. Today, there are over 10,000 homeless people in Glasgow. Salt and Light is a Christian outreach charity that supports Glasgow's neediest. Their bus serves as a mobile community centre during the day and a soup kitchen for the homeless 2 nights a week. Anne Wallace founded Salt and Light 11 years ago.
That bridge has a particular significance for you, doesn't it?
Sentimental. I used to sleep under it with about 30 other people.
30 other people?
Yeah.
Has it changed much?
No, it's not changed at all. It's amazing what you can do with sheets of cardboard and newspapers to keep you warm. We didn't even have sleeping bags. We all kept each other warm.
So what were the series of events that caused you to be out on the streets?
When I was 13, I was raped, and that's when I started drinking really badly.
It must have been very hard for you then.
It was the loneliness more than anything. On my birthday, I tried to end my life, and it was vodka. 3 bottles of vodka.
3 bottles of vodka?
3 bottles of vodka, and still I never died. God was definitely looking after me, and it was almost as though it was like training. Now that I look back in it, it was almost like I've been there, I've done it, I've took part in it, and now the people I'm working with are there at the moment, and I can really empathise with them. I mean, there's folk at that bus the night, and I'll look at them and I'll know how lonely they are. But I can put my arms around them, Ross, and I might be the only human contact that person's got from last Thursday to this Thursday.
There will be thousands and thousands of young people and old people and middle-aged people from all sorts of backgrounds tonight who have nowhere to sleep and no food in their stomach.
That's right.
In the UK in 2012.
What a disgrace. An absolute disgrace.
I'm on my way to meet Dave, one of Salt and Light's regulars. Dave is one of Britain's many homeless.
How important is Salt and Light?
How important?
Yeah.
If it weren't for them, I'd go hungry. Honestly.
How much are you drinking then?
2 to 2.5 litres of vodka a day.
2 to 2.5 litres?
Yep. That's from
How much have you drunk today then, for instance, do you know?
About 2.5 litres of vodka.
So how...
But that's from when I wake up, which could be 6 o'clock in the morning right through until I go to sleep. It's not a binge drink, it's just...
Continuous.
Yep.
And where do you find the money to buy your drugs and to buy that kind of amount of alcohol? If you're going for that amount of alcohol, that's a lot of money a week, isn't it?
Friends and family,
Where are you living now?
homeless.
So where are you sleeping tonight?
I can show you where I'm sleeping if you want.
Since arriving in Glasgow, Dave has spent time living in hostels and sleeping rough on the streets. He's chosen a particularly precarious spot to spend the night.
See the scaffold? The actual scaffold? You think how big that beam was? I could get up there in 2 seconds flat. Nuts with a drink.
Skippering is slang for sleeping rough.
Are you skipping in there, aye?
No, really.
Aye. Done it all. Under bridges, this is what we need to do. That's life in Glasgow. You know what I mean? We're not getting nothing there, you know what I mean? A stamp's been put on their heads now in this town now. Don't give him any money, don't walk near them, you know what I mean? They're drinkers or drug users, you know what I mean? We're not all bad people. It's nothing to be proud of, but I'd rather be in a jail where I know I'm safe. I've got a telly now, I've got 3 square meals a day, and I can just lie myself. Don't need to be paranoid about walking about a town.
You have to wonder how dangerous the streets are if someone is prepared to risk life and limb and climb 30 feet up to sleep safely under a railway bridge. And if prison is a better option and people are prepared to commit crime to get there, what's that costing us, not only as taxpayers, but also as a society? Nearly 30% of the homeless population is female. Gillian has been homeless for 6 years.
So, you tell me how you first became a prostitute. What happened there?
I was using heroin. I ended up using heroin through a relative sex partner was injecting me with heroin.
What, he was just injecting you? Well, you must have... Did you not want to be injected?
I was 9.
You were 9 years old?
9 years of age. He started injecting me with heroin. I had to keep that for my family. I kept that for my family.
Why was somebody injecting you with heroin when you were 9 years old?
To abuse me.
At 9 years old?
He told me I was diabetic.
He told you you were diabetic? Well,
He was injecting me with heroin and telling me that it was insulin. I wanted to go to school, I wanted to learn, I wanted to do the things that normal people do. I wanted to get an education, but I had to make sure that I had this fixed to make sure that I could get up and do it all.
And are you still a user of heroin?
I've just started back using heroin again.
Yeah, really? How long ago?
Just 3 weeks ago I had a miscarriage.
Yeah.
And used the heroin to try and block it out.
All right, so tonight, what would be the normal routine for you tonight?
Work here, do what I can, and then as long as I've got at least 100, 150 a night, that's how long I'll stay at.
150 quid, yeah?
That 3 or 4 clients.
And then what will you do with that money?
Go and buy heroin, make sure that my partner's all right, clean clothes. And
But just the practicalities of you living rough, as it were. What about getting warm? How much sleep do you get?
very, very little, very little. I worked I thought it was about 4 days that I've been up, but it's not, it's about a week.
You've actually not slept properly at all?
At all.
For a week?
For a week,
I mean, how come can you survive for? If you've not slept in a week...
If I've got a habit, I'm going to have to do it. I need to keep myself on my toes, because there's no way I'm going to sit down and, as I said, I've still got some pride. I need to know that I'm going away and closing the door and going to sleep. I'd rather walk the streets. I've got to have somewhere that I can just go and do what I'm doing. See the skipper that I had?
The place you were sleeping?
I've got keys to that and I've locked it up. But we can go down and I can show you exactly where it is. And
can we do that?
we can do that any time you like.
Can we do that now?
Watch your footing. Just be careful because there's barbed wire there.
You're better at doing this than I am.
So this is where you were, yeah?
This is where we were, yeah. Brand new bedding. We had this double bed here.
Gillian and her boyfriend have spent the last 6 months skippering under a road bridge. Last night, moneylenders chasing payment from another couple set fire to their skipper.
Did you not sometimes think, you know, how did I get here? I mean, you're going to be seen doing this film. Yeah. What do you think your parents will think about it?
They'll be amused, but me and my mother don't go on there. We're just too alike, and it's been an ongoing thing for years. I wouldn't embarrass my mother waking up like this. She knows what I do, she knows that I'm on heroin. So I'm not going to exactly embarrass her by turning up in the door and asking for somewhere to stay. I wouldn't do it. I'd rather just walk the streets.
You've got kids of your own, haven't you?
I'm born 2 girls, yeah. Yeah, my mother's, as long as I know my mother's looking after them well. And I can't expect to drag kids for pillar to post.
Couldn't live with them here, could you?
No.
And there's no way of you reconciling differences with your mum?
No. No. Just been too
long. Not even
long.
for the kids?
Been too long.
What I find fascinating about the parallel worlds that exist in this country when it comes to poverty is, you know, just round the corner there are these very expensive flats, very nice cars, and you know what? I've got a nice car, relatively nice car, and I live in a relatively nice house. But it's about this parallel that I'm discovering that exists in this city and across the UK of people who live in poverty and people who don't, and how these two worlds seem to be they're paralleled, and they're not crossing very often, because you can live there and have no idea, not an iota, that there were people living just there in, you know, as cave people, basically. People should not be living like that when there are other people living like that. And I know I'm one of them. And I think I'm as guilty as anybody else of turning a blind eye to the poverty in this country.
I'm out delivering sandwiches to some of the hostels for the homeless in Glasgow with Martin, a volunteer from the Salt and Light charity.
There is a lot of rejuvenation going on here, isn't there? I mean, money is being spent.
Yeah, oh aye, definitely.
But why has this city still got such a problem then with homeless people? Why has it got such a problem with prostitution and drug abuse?
It's a hard one to answer. I think some of the problem is that some of the guys and girls have their own problems, their own demons, and it's not you can't just stick a plaster on it, and you know, there's no one easy solution.
Glasgow was once the second city of the British Empire, but in the 1970s, like many cities in the UK, industry went into decline. And to deal with the growing numbers of unemployed and homeless, hostels were built. But here in Glasgow, with the explosion of drugs in the mid-80s, many hostels became hotbeds for drug abuse and crime. Today, the council-run hostels have been shut down, and the council now helps fund the private and charitable ones.
So let's just clear one thing up then, right? What I've just witnessed, there is supposed to be no alcohol and no drugs in a hostel, right? I've just witnessed people drinking Buckfast, which is a fortified wine with caffeine in it, and I've just witnessed people smoking heroin, and they came directly out of a hostel.
To get a better understanding of what it's like living in a hostel, I've been granted access to Kingston Halls.
We're on our way to a hostel run by the Talbot Centre. It's home to around 61 guys, many of whom are waiting for council housing, some of whom just simply have nowhere else to go.
Kingston Halls is one of 7 residential projects run by the Talbot Association, a charity set up in the 70s to meet the high levels of homelessness in Glasgow. Debbie, the manager, explains that Kingston Halls is considered to be one of the better hostels around and consequently has to turn people away on a regular basis.
So this is just one of the rooms?
This is one of the rooms.
This is Scott?
Yeah, this is his room.
And how long has he been here, do you know?
Oh, about 3-4 months.
So he's got a TV, bed, they have a bathroom that they can use, yeah?
Every time they want a laundry done, they just come down, put their name down in the book so they can have a laundry done. The rooms are cleaned, the bedding's cleaned once a week, but their clothing can be done
whatever they want.
So
they're not responsible. They're not responsible for cleaning their own.
Well, we encourage them to keep their environment clean and tidy, but the domestic staff come in and make sure that it's up to standard. This is part of the refurbishment that I was telling you about earlier. Yeah. These rooms used to be 2 to a room.
But a lot of these guys, let's be fair, a lot of them have been to prison, haven't they? A lot of guys have been to prison. So they're used to it. Yeah, a lot of guys have come through the care system. So this is...
Oh my God, this is very good.
Yeah.
This guy looks like he's ex-forces by the looks of it. I have stayed in worse hotels than this around the world.
Thank you.
Really, but it's fantastic. And this guy, clearly, whoever he may be, he takes very much pride in his room. His room and his appearance by the looks of it. He's far more tidy than I am.
Yes, and me.
How long can someone stay here, Debbie?
It's not indefinite.
Is this a stopgap then?
This is a stopgap.
But some people, once they're out of what we would call a caring environment in terms of having you guys, should something go wrong, or someone to clean, I mean, literally, they do get their rooms cleaned for them as well.
Yes, they do.
Is there not the risk that by caring for them so much, that they become so reliant that going out into the world is so daunting that you don't want to leave an environment like this?
To some point, I do agree. However, not everybody here goes to a house and is set up to fail. You know, this is, as you said, a stopgap, you know, and we're here to make the stopgap that wee bit more comfortable.
To help with the high demand, there is a makeshift area where 10 men can bed down for the night.
And is there a typical person that comes here? Is it somebody that's just freshly walked out of a house or been kicked out of a house? Or could it be someone that's been long-term, you know, living out on the streets?
All of them.
All of the above, yeah? Can be any of those issues. Yep. And some of them can be well known to you, yeah?
Yep.
It could have been people, in fact, that have stayed here before, yeah?
Yes, indeed, there are.
One returning ex-resident is 37-year-old John, who is addicted to Valium.
And how much Valium are you taking?
About 30 a day.
30 a day. What strength?
Sometimes more.
What strength were they?
10 blues, 10 mils.
10 milligrams?
Yeah.
You're taking 30 of those?
Easy.
That's 300 milligrams of Valium?
Easy. It's amazing what a habit can do to you. You know what I mean?
Right. And did you work at that? We couldn't have
No,
worked with 300 milligrams of Valium inside
because I spent so many years in prison. You know what I mean? That any trades that I do know, I've learned in prison. So coming out to do it here, it's like going to a job interview and saying, oh, I know how to do this, but I learned my trade in prison. Straight away they're going to say, well...
Yeah, you don't get a job, right?
You're not going to get a job.
So how much time, if you add it up, if you think you've been inside prison?
Oh... You're talking about maybe about 12, 13 years.
So what about the future for you, John?
Well, basically, I've had this question asked to me so many times because of me. I've been living basically on the streets since I was 12. You know what I mean? So it's a long time. And,
since you were 12, you've been living out on the streets?
Since I left I was put in a children's home and I ran away. From then, I've only ever lived on the streets, in prison or in hostels. So that's a long time, you know what I mean?
Also, you're in a cycle that's very hard to break, aren't you?
It's not easy. It's a habit of its own. It's going to take a lot, you know what I mean, for me to get to be in a normal life, because I've got a lot of hurdles to climb.
There's clearly a pattern emerging here of people going from prison on the streets to hostels, and you have to question if enough being done to get people to stand up on their own 2 feet and take responsibility for themselves, or is it just too easy for them to remain in that cycle? Fraser is a hostel resident who explains to me why presently it's not in his interest to get out of the benefit system.
It's £165 a week, regardless.
All right.
The housing benefit will cover £137 and the rest you have to make up out of your fortnightly money.
Your gyro. Yeah.
But if I was earning minimum wage and working 40 hours a week, they would still expect 165 quid a week.
Which would leave you very little.
Which would leave me with what's the point in working? By the time I've travelled to work, fed myself for lunch during the day, I'd actually be in debt. So, I mean, the system's built up so that you have to be unemployed. And then you've still got to justify to the job seekers allowance that you're out there looking for work, or they'll stop your money.
Just so you can say.
And I'm having to put on my CV that I've been in prison. And if I want a job, I never tell people I've been in prison because you just won't get the job. So I'm applying for these jobs that I might get because the job centre are sending me the referrals. And I'm having to apply for them, but on the bottom of my CV, I'm writing down that I was in prison for 9 months, just to make sure I don't get the job, so I can continue getting my benefits, so that I can get a flat sooner or later. It's, the system's broken. I need to get out and earn my own money, so that I can feel good, you know, because there's nothing better than when you go to the bank at the end of the week and you take out money that hasn't been given to you by the government. You've grafted for it, it's yours, and if you want to go for a pint, go for a pint, you deserve it. Yeah, it's your money.
And it'll taste a lot much better as well.
And it does. You know, nothing quite like a nice tall glass of lager at the end of the day when you've worked hard and you're paying for it. I mean, it's really nice if somebody else is buying it, but, you know.
Yeah. It's clearly wrong that a system intended to get people back to work is preventing Fraser from doing so. And it also highlights that the system is open to manipulation. And if the gap between the money that you earn by working and by not working is so small, then why would you work? The benefit system was set up as a safety net to help people back to work, not for people to adopt it as a way of life. Today, the British government spends over £100 billion on welfare. That's 1/6 of its entire budget spent on benefits. Travelling around the world, I have witnessed poverty in Africa, in South America, in certain parts of the United States. And the poverty here is different. And for many of the people I've met around the world, they were born into it, and for economic reasons, there is clearly no way out for them. You know, probably watching this film, you're asking, why have the people that I've met not got out of the situation that they're in? You know, there are people willing to help them. But the fact is, if they can't see a way out themselves, then they're never going to get out of the cycle that they're in. To try to break this cycle of poverty, Glasgow is demolishing its old housing schemes and trying to revive communities.
We're in Hamilton Hill. We're about to go and meet one of the few residents that's still remaining in these what were tenements. Now, they're actually pulling all of these down. We spoke to a postman just now. He guesses there are around about 50 people still living here, and we're going to meet one of them, a man called Neil. Neil, how are you? Good to meet you, mate. How are you? Come in, yeah?
Aye. Where you go about?
It's your kitchen, yeah?
Aye, Scully, aye.
How long have you been here?
5, 6 years.
Do you ever use it? Do you use it to cook?
Aye. Well,
Yeah.
have you got to take the cooker?
Yeah.
I've not done the dishes yet.
What have you got in your fridge right now?
I can tell you what to see.
Yeah. None.
None.
So I said, please clean microwave.
And that was my sister's been on the hospital.
What's in this? What is this here?
That's lard to put chips in.
Yeah, okay, you got that there to put your chips in, right.
There's a heart condition. Oh, 3 heart attacks. I've got my toes took off. I've got psoriasis in my stomach.
So you've had 3 heart attacks, you've got psoriasis, and you've had your toes...
Took off 5 of my toes. So just...
You pulled your own toes off?
Aye. That's it. There was no blood on it because it was just pure black, pure bogging.
So you just snapped them off, eh?
Aye. So I did, snapped them off.
I mean, what are you living off? What are you eating?
Well, I usually buy sausages. I pound for 14 sausages. Buy a couple of them. Hamburgers, £2 for 20. Loaves, 40.
£2 for 20.
Aye. I have to go now Iceland and I can hardly walk, I'm nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go down there.
How old are you now?
46.
You're 46.
Right, it's in all of them. So I'm walking with because my knees, it's killing me.
Your knee's killing you, yeah?
Aye.
When you've had 3 heart attacks, you say you've got cirrhosis of the liver.
Aye.
And you've
5 toes.
you pulled your 5 toes off, yeah?
Aye.
What did you do with them?
Well, 2 of them on top of the telly.
Sorry?
2 of them on top of the telly.
2 of them were on top of the telly?
Aye, yeah. That's a big toe, I think it's a wee toe.
It's all right. Let's have a look.
That's my toe.
That's your toe?
That's my toe, aye.
I can't see the bone yet.
That's it. So I had to twist them off.
So you can see the nail there, can't you, and the bone that was behind it. You just broke them off, yeah?
Aye, there's another one lying about somewhere.
Do you not think that was probably not a very good idea, really?
No, because one nurse's told him they're going to pull up anyway. And there's so much pain I was in. So I just got drunk and just went, here goes.
And you pulled your toes off?
Aye, and just came off.
Yeah. You feel better now, yeah, sitting down?
But that's what I do.
You've got a son or daughter or anything?
Aye, I've got a son.
Yeah.
But he drinks a lot and all.
He drinks a lot?
He's staying with his ma.
He's staying with his ma, yeah. She doesn't obviously have anything to do with you anymore?
Oh, she's a no. She used to get jail me all the time.
She's what, sorry?
She used to jail me all the time.
She was to put you in prison, yeah?
Aye, well, even when I done nothing.
So how much time did you serve inside?
4 months here, 4 months here, 30 days here, 60 days here, 30 days here, 3 months here.
What was generally the offence that you were jailed for?
Domestic violence.
Oh, right. Did you sleep well?
No. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all badly bruised.
How much money do you actually get a week?
He's 70 quid a week.
And what does that go on? If you're buying burgers,
I tell you,
goes on booze, is it?
I mostly booze, drink, booze, horses. I don't want the horses. That's my skin. I just go back to the hamburgers, beans, sausages, and all that. It's not that I want to eat that. It's just that I've got to eat that.
But a lot of people would say, you know, if you're spending that money on alcohol and you're spending that money on the horses, you know, you should actually be spending that money on some decent food, not 20 burgers.
Actually, if you think about it, yeah, but if you've been on that drink for that many years,
yeah,
you can't change. And if you changed it, you die straight away.
Yeah. Neil, did you ever have a job? Did you ever work?
No. Well, as it says, I was a tearaway when I was a youngster.
You were a tearaway?
Aye. So I was in jail then. I was 16 and all that.
So what do you think is your future now, looking at where you are now and your health?
I think to the end of this year.
Say that again?
To the end of this year.
To the end of this year?
That's what I think I'm going to live to.
All right, we came to see you today. How often does somebody come and see you?
Nobody comes up and sees you, just sit here. Pure bored. Just hoping that somebody comes up. If they don't, they don't. That's the way it goes. That's the way I see it.
I feel that no one really should be living like that. I mean, he said, you know, we were the first people that he really spoke to in a week, and if anybody does come to see him, they knock, see if he's okay, and then leave. I mean, they didn't even go into the flat. He says, can you blame them? And I have to say, no, not really. As he said, he's just waiting to die. And there may be people watching this program that have judged him and said, you know, that man has got what he deserves. You know, he's ended up where he deserves to be. I personally think that no one in this day and age should be living like that. One of the initiatives implemented by Glasgow Council, which is having a positive effect here, is supported accommodation. Many homeless people find it difficult to break the cycle of living on the streets, living in hostels, or ending up in prison. The aim of supported accommodation is to help the homeless re-enter and become valued members of society.
William, John and Ross are all in supported accommodation and have agreed to show me some of their old haunts.
So where are we walking now, guys?
This is us just going down the back of Springboard Shopping Centre.
Until recently, these young men bounced between jail, hostels and the streets and were taking and selling drugs.
I had a job as a van boy, right, for Evening Times, and I remember my pals were selling a lot of drugs in Mary Hill, and I come up and they were letting us know about it, because I used to make like £100 a week or something as a van boy, and I could make triple that in a day. So I ended up finishing my job. I gave my job in as a van boy to go and sell drugs, so I could have money and stuff like that.
So you were making 3 times what you'd make doing deliveries for
in a full week. I could do that within that day, no bother. And I had all the drugs that I wanted, so it made perfect sense to go and sell drugs. Well, at the time, that's...
How old were you then, though?
16.
16, what time did you start? How old were you when you started selling?
When I started selling, say about 12, 13.
12, 13?
Years of age, but mad actually
12,
started.
13.
It started away before then. I always looked up to the older ones, and it was my big brother and things like that, so they were all smoking the hash. So to be part of, I wanted to do that.
And with the drugs came violence.
I'd get my hand shavered.
That is that's a good scar.
I'd get my hand shavered and get my scar right down the back.
You're in the top of your ribbon?
Aye, no.
What was that with?
That was with a Rambo knife. The guy attacked us with, and 3 of them attacked us with balaclavas and that. I got stabbed in the rectum, I ended up with a colostomy bag for a year as well. That was on the Wanner. I was left for dead.
William, John and Ross were brought up in some of the toughest areas of Glasgow.
So we're going to Merry Hill, yeah?
Yep.
Was it ever merry?
Well,
depending what you...
in several weekends, aye.
It was merry on several weekends, was it?
Many a weekend. I grew up in Mary Hill. My uncles had a big influence, so they did see it. Because I was young and stuff like that, and I never had much and stuff like that. I remember they done a robbery, they done a post office and ended up in jail. I remember being young, growing up and thinking, I want to rob a post office and make a lot of money.
You wanted to rob a post office?
I wanted to be what they were. See, that way when they sell drugs and had lots of money and nice cars and nice girlfriends and when they looked on the outside, their life looked good.
Selling drugs, having girls, having money in your pocket, it just appears glamorous, doesn't it? But the reality, is it that glamorous?
No, it's not.
Well, I have to say, to the untrained eye, that doesn't look bad to me.
Well, they're just all new houses. It used to be all tenements.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, they look good on the outside, but it's the same people, it's inside them.
Ross, it's just like addiction. You can dress it up on the outside, but it's the inside you've got to work on. Isn't it, Ross?
Yep, exactly.
If you were put back, say, over there tomorrow, Ross, do you reckon you'd go back to drugs?
See the day, I don't think I would. See the day, I've got a lot of good friends in my life. I've got a lot of good support in my corner. This is a big difference. See, in the past, see when it was going on for me, I would use drugs to suppress my feelings. See, 2 days before Christmas, my wee mum passed away. So she did. My wee mum passed away, and it was like, crushed me. But I didn't need to run away and use drugs. I had people like John and Willie round about me to talk to, and to encourage me and pick me up and pull me through it and support me and just to be there for me.
What a lovely day, boys.
Yeah.
I'd seen the summers, I used to walk with Bergus's on, man. Fucking Pierce, know what I mean? Hood up and all that.
Couldn't give him the eye contact and all that.
Really?
See you get clean walk through Glasgow, you end up noticing buildings and all that. You've never been there for years. I'm like...
Nothing about an addiction with your eyes shut, basically.
Can I deal with people with their trainers?
People buy their trainers, literally.
Because your head's been not out.
Yeah, I'm with you. Why do you guys think that the supported housing is better than anything else that's out there?
It learns you how to deal with life,
how to move into your own tenancy.
But it doesn't throw you directly out there on your own.
No.
It's a stepping stones.
And you've got a key worker in your supported accommodation, which is really important, I think, because you can go down and you can share your stuff, see you just eating, and they sort of keep them tappy as well. And you need to get in there and let them know how you're doing, what's happening in your life, and when they get that, if you're in a hostel, but you know.
William Hunter House, run by the Salvation Army, not only treats the lads for their addiction, but also teaches them basic living skills so that eventually they'll be able to have a home of their own.
How long would you be in supported accommodation before they would consider you okay to go out?
You can take you 12 months, it can take you 18 months, it can take you up to 2 years. I've not really heard anybody further than 2 years.
It all depends how much work you're putting into it. See, if I'm putting a lot of effort into and a lot of work in it, I could leave after 6 months if I feel I'm ready. It's down to the individual.
Supported accommodation has seen a 68% decrease in repeat homelessness.
Right.
And here's just your wee sitting room, your living room, two wee couches. This is sort of my own telly and that. Your own comfort, you can just come up here and just left to your own devices, and you get in there, that's your wee kitchen, and you get your fridge and you get your cooker.
Realistically, William, are you going to get something like this when you leave here?
I should get something better than this, to be quite honest with you.
William Hunter House, they've got a good rapport. See, with the housing association.
Reputation for getting you a place where it suits you.
Yep.
Everything you encountered before this hasn't worked?
Nothing. As I said to you earlier on, I've been in different treatment centres, detox centres, been in hostels, I've been in the jails. I've tried everything. Everything I've tried, and this is the only thing that's ever worked to me, and it's still working today, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's the longest I've been clean my life. It's the most self-worth and self-belief and I've got faith in it. I know if I just keep doing what I'm doing, everything's going to be all right.
Guys, you've been absolutely really impressive today, and you've got a convert in me. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Josh. Appreciate it.
The reasons for poverty and people being trapped in the cycle of poverty are far more complex than I first imagined. Clearly, there are aspects of the welfare system that need to be reassessed. And the system will always be open to manipulation, and there will always be some that fall through the cracks. But for all its faults, I have to say I think it's something to be incredibly proud of, because the lives that it's changed for the better are unquantifiable. Before I leave, I get some news. After 6 years of being homeless, Gillian has been given a flat by the Housing Association.
Before you go through, how'd you feel?
Nervous, I'm shaking.
Sure? You're shaking? What does it mean to you?
Everything.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. The sitting room.
And it's got actually a sofa in it. It's decorated, looks really, really good, huh?
Have a look and see where my kitchen is. I don't even know
kitchen.
where that is.
Fridge, cooker.
Be able to cook my first meal.
Washing machine.
Everything. Oh God. Sorry.
It's all right.
It's just too much. I just no. Addiction's not even a choice for me. Methadone, get myself sorted. Definitely. I'm not losing this. It's took me long enough to get here. Definitely.
And what about your family now, you know, the kids? What about maybe having them over in the period of time?
I need to speak to my mother in time, hopefully.
In time? I think that's right. You have to...
Me and my mother are so alike, and we've never seen eye to eye, but I love her for looking after my kids. Without her, my kids could have been in the system. My head's everywhere. It's just, this is a lot to take in. Just can't believe I'm actually here.
Well, we witnessed a momentous day in Gillian's life. You rarely see things that make you that happy in life when you see somebody whose life has been pushed and she's been hurt and she's been trampled on, and now she has a chance to turn her life around. And I honestly hope that she achieves that.